guys, so today I'm gonna do a story time on how I thought this girl was gonna be my friend, but then she turned out to be my arch enemy. Okay, so basically it started on the first day of school where I was the new kid. Everybody else was not new. Like they were still in the same class that they were the year before. So I was the new kid, and I did not have any friends yet. But I was about to have some friends, and the teacher, for the first day of school, the teacher assigned us partners to write something about, to write a story about, well, not a story, but just to introduce them to the class. And I was partnered up with this girl, let's call her Abigail. So Abigail and I were partners, and we got to know each other because we were assigned to tell the class about one another. And basically we started off good. She was cool until one day, once we got to know each other, we were cool. But one day when I was at school, and she just started being Miss Smarty Pants and sort of being toxic. Well, not toxic, but sort of rude. And I was just like, "Hey, what happened?" She was like, "Nothing happened. I've always been this way." And I was like, "Okay, if you say so." But yeah, she just started turning into I know this and you don't, and I'm better than you because I know how to use big words and you don't. And basically that kind of kid in the class, you know? And so I was basically looking at her like, okay, that's good for you, I guess, if you want to show your intelligence, but not to flaunt it off, to be you're dumb and I'm smart. That's basically what she was doing. She was basically being I'm smart and you're not. I use big words and you don't. And even her sister, Patricia, we'll call her Patricia for now. Even her sister Sarah
Patricia
would come into our classroom and basically make us feel bad about ourselves. Every time her sister got an answer right, she'd be like, "Oh yeah," and high five her in front of literally everybody, which I don't think anything is wrong with that. It's just the way she was doing it was yeah, all you people are so dumb. She's the smartest girl in the class, which in fact she wasn't. It was my other friend Sarah, but we're just gonna call her Sarah. But Abigail basically kept being like that for a long time, and we weren't really friends anymore because she kept showing off her smarts, which she wasn't really showing off, if I do say so myself. She was not showing off. All she was doing was basically making herself away from the other kids, in a way. She'd have these introvert moments where she wouldn't want to talk to anybody. She'd just want to be by herself and lock herself in a closet. As you I'm homeschooled, so we did our schooling in a church and not a traditional school. So that's how she would lock herself in closets and stuff until it was time to go to another class, which she was really late for one class, and everybody was looking at her, and the teacher just excused it because her mom was teaching her kids. So the teacher was like, "I don't want my daughter's teacher to treat my daughter any differently because I called her daughter out for being late and tardy." But anyway, so we just kept arguing about these things, who was better at this and who sounded bratty. She would call me bratty multiple times, and it was just sort of annoying because okay, what if I'm bratty? What if I'm I'm not bratty, but this leads into another story. Like, okay, so one time we were at Sarah's house, and all my friends were there. Well, all my friends in the class, because I had made friends with literally everybody in the class except for Abigail. Like, I would have been friends with everybody in the class except if Abigail hadn't have like turned and stuff, then I would have been friends with everybody in my class. But I wasn't, and I still am not because of Abigail. Anyway, so Abigail would do all this stuff. Like, we were at Sarah's house because we are having like 8th grade party because we're going into 9th grade. And she would we were throwing water on each other, and basically she did not like to get wet. And so I didn't like to get wet either, but I was throwing water on other people. So I was like, don't splash me, I won't splash you, don't splash me. And then I would like splash them and run away, like being playful and stuff like that. Well, she did not like that, and she was like, Ethan, you sound bratty when you do that. And I'd be like, okay, and like, I know I'm gonna get splashed. Like, people are gonna splash me, but I still don't want to get splashed. And she'd be like, you still sound bratty when you say that. And I'm like, okay. Anyway, then when we were playing volleyball at Sarah's house, she literally would stare at the ball. She only liked to serve it. So we would take turns serving it. And when it was her turn to serve it, she was sort of bad at volleyball, but like, it wasn't her fault. She never played it before. And neither have I, but at least I was trying to get the ball. She was not trying to get the ball. She was just sitting there. Whenever the ball came to her, she'd be like, I'm just gonna watch it fly over beside me and watch it like fall onto the ground when I clearly could have bounced it up one more time so another teammate could have gotten it. But she didn't. And so I was being like, Abigail, can you at least try? And I was smiling when I said it, like being playful, because I was like, I don't want to make her mad. I don't want to seem like I'm being mean. And she was like, do you ever shut up for once in your gosh darn life? But she said some swear words in between that, and I was like, oh, okay. And I went to tell Sarah's mom, and Sarah's mom was like, watch the language, guys. Not trying to ruin the vibe or the mood or anything, but everybody was on my side. They were like, why did you say that? It's like, you literally weren't doing anything, which she wasn't. She literally was, all she wanted to do was serve the ball. That's all she wanted to do. And then when it was time for her to it wasn't time for her, but when she could have saved us, and mind you, there were 3 people on the other team and 5 of us. And I'm more athletic, in my feet. I play soccer and stuff, so I'm not very good at volleyball, but I was better than most of the people there, okay? I was surprised, and I was better than most of the people. And she was like that stereotypical nerd type girl that didn't play sports and was just looking for love, being like, I wonder if anybody is gonna like me. Will anybody like me? I'm so awkward. I'm so introverted. Girl, you are not the main event. Oh my goodness, have some respect for yourself and not just be obsessed with boys, which she wasn't really obsessed with boys. She was just trying to be that stereotypical type girl, and she's not. She's Abigail, not some stereotypical Hallmark looking girl who wants to find love in school, except she can't find love because she thinks she's too ugly. Don't get me wrong, Abigail is pretty and all, but she she's not like drop dead gorgeous like some of the girls in my class. And so, I think Abigail felt a little jealous of that or something, because she was always like locking herself in closets and talking about how she wants to like be alone and nobody follow her. And she also wanted to be like that artist. Like, there's that one kid, that one sort of weird kid who is like wants to be like an artist, and they raise their hand weirdly. That was her. She would like raise her hand weirdly and be like, yeah, I draw. Like, okay, good for you. And we had to write short stories for like the end of the year project. And I had a really great short story, and I barely understood hers. Hers was in the third person, and it was a little too grown for an 8th grader. Like, it was about this lady drinking, and like she's in a wheelchair, and she and her like boyfriend or husband. It was complicated. Like, if I were to read it to you, you would be like, huh? Like, it was that complicated. But yeah, I guess that's stories that you get with smart girls, aka quote unquote. But yeah, she started turning toxic to me. Like, every time I'd ask her a question, she'd ignore me. And don't even get me started on her sister. Her sister was even worse than her. And her sister is in 11th grade, but she would sometimes pop in and stuff, like, to see what our class is doing. And she literally made us feel so bad about ourselves. I asked her, because she said something about someone that we were writing about on the board, like, sort of like, autobiography. Not an autobiography, but a biography. And that was basically what we were doing. And she came into class, and we're not in the same class. This was just like when our teacher was about to give birth to the baby, because she was pregnant all throughout the year. And for the last day of school, she was given in the hospital, giving birth. And so we had to room with the 11th graders, and she said something about someone on the board, and she was like, she said a big word, and I was like, what does that mean? And she was like, look it up. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be rude. I just asked a question. Like, gosh dang, I literally asked a question, and she's like, look it up. Ugh. And so my friend, like, she saw how, like, that I felt bad, and she was like, here, I'll look it up for you. And she's a trooper, like, she's a real one. But I was so upset. And then whenever I would ask her, like, what she wrote, like, what it meant, she'd look at me and literally put her earbuds in, and she'd walk away. Or just ignore me. And I'd be like, hello? And she wouldn't, like, speak to me or anything. She was, like, the worst version of Abigail, if you get what I'm saying. Like, she was the worst version of Abigail. It was terrible. Like, terrible, terrible, terrible. Anyway, yeah, that was basically how she turned toxic, and how, like, we were supposed to be friends, but she just turned toxic, and I don't even know why. Like, I didn't even do anything to her, but yeah, so that's going to be the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed, and let me know if you want some other story times. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!